Hi, I'm Melanie Barr. Welcome to the She Built It Experience with Melanie. You're here because you want to experience the life and business that you crave. Join me as I talk to women who have successfully built it, a career and business that they love. We dive into the topic of how they built it and talk about everything from having the courage to make career leaps to the details of how to lead effectively, create successful teams, implement strategies for growth, and infuse tech innovation. Magic happens when we focus on the part of ourselves and our business that brings us joy. So let's dive in. Diana Nguyen is a financial consultant turned fashion designer and entrepreneur. She quit her corporate job 4 years ago to launch Madison Savile, a Los Angeles-based label offering contemporary women's blazers and pantsuits designed to empower women to realize their gifts and be the best versions of themselves, their true self. Diana, thank you so much for joining us. You are a finance consultant turned fashion designer and entrepreneur. Your company was created to empower women to realize her gifts and let her light shine. Please tell us more about who you are and your early career and what led you to launch your brand.
Thank you for having me. Really excited to be here and love what you're doing and how you're helping the women out there that's listening. So
Thank you.
I was a major in accounting and marketing. And so I ended up joining the big four accounting firms when I graduated. I used to be an auditor, project management, consulting for the last 15 years. It took a while to make that big leap from the corporate world. I was working at Microsoft before I left. It was a great job, but it took me a while to make that leap because it's scary. It's into the unknown. You've had this steady, amazing income for so long. I can do it in my sleep. And now I'm going into a completely different industry, finance to fashion. In finance, you're good at what you do because of the experience and your education, but it's not necessarily your passion. And it took me a while and a couple career coaches, completely different methods that both came to the same conclusion, which is you're an entrepreneur. That's where you're going to thrive. Eventually, it came to me with women's blazers because I absolutely love a blazer. A blazer is very much a power staple, a classic staple in your closet forever, I believe. And I always had the problems of finding the right blazer because I do 5 million things a day and I can't have whatever I'm wearing restrict me. And then also with the women around me that I worked with in corporate, similar issue. It wasn't enough for me to leave until that calling where you're like, there's something more. I am on this earth for a purpose. There is a calling that I need to do more and be more and make more of an impact. And I can't do that in this position right now. Pairing the blazers with the fact that Madison Savile, and this is how I came up with the name, is that Savile's for Savile Row, famous street in London, known for bespoke tailoring of suits for men. I want to bring that to women. But Madison means gift of God and warrior. It very much aligned with Madison Savile. And the blazers are just the beginning. It's a catalyst to so much more that I want to do with this company. And that is to create change and empower and inspire women in this new era and the many hats that we're wearing. We're career women, we're mothers, we're wives, we're daughters, sisters, and we need to create that change. And I want to create that change and have a seat at the table to make those changes.
I love that because what we wear has so much to do with our confidence, how we feel about ourselves when we enter a room.
Absolutely. It is. I've been asked what makes it that way in terms of a blazer. I believe it's because of the structure of it, right? It gives you that structure and it gives you that power and that confidence. I don't know about you, but every time I put on a blazer, whether I'm wearing sweats underneath,
right,
it does change my attitude.
It's so true. And good for you for making that pivot because so often we get into our careers and we've spent years in training or in school or gaining the knowledge needed. You can be really good at what you're doing. It's just really hard to find that courage to say, I'm going to do something completely different. Do you remember the moment, that pivotal moment where you said, I'm going to do this? What gave you the courage to make that leap?
Great question. It is definitely that purpose, that faith. When we're talking about love, for example, people are just like, oh, you just know. And you just end up hating those people for saying that until it happens to you. Then you're like, oh, I get it.
Right.
So that's what happened. Career coaches. And then it all just aligned one day. And it was that aha moment. But I didn't make the jump right away. I was still working at Microsoft, but I was very transparent with what I wanted to do. And in my meetings with my manager, for example, they always ask you at Microsoft, you have your quarterly annual touch base about what are your long-term goals? And I would be very honest. My long-term goal is to create a company for impact and change. So I won't be here for long, but while I'm here, I'll give you 100%.
I love that. I can only imagine the reaction that came out of that.
I was just so blessed with a great manager, a great team, because they understood and they fully supported it.
How do you want women to feel when they wear your brand?
Our first collection is called Unstoppable and Fierce because that is what's lined on the inside. When I designed these blazers, everything thoughtfully designed where every aspect is going to help you or inspire you in some way. It is the Superman, Superwoman cape. Once you put on that blazer, it's a reminder to you of how unstoppable you are, but also your own gift. Because in this day and age of social media, comparing each other to each other, we have a unique gift in each of us. And it's a reminder, bring out that gift. Don't be afraid to show the world your gift because that's why you're here. And you're doing a disservice to the world if you don't share your unique gift with the world. I mean, that's the blazer and Madison Savile in every way.
I love it. It's a gift that we were even born. We won that lottery and we're here. And you're right. With social media, we can get so in a lane of doing what we do every day that we forget to show the world our gifts and who we are.
Absolutely. And I love what you're doing with building that community because with that community, it is helping each other break down those walls and go, show us who you are. The true beauty is what I call it, and from within. One of our taglines is arming you from the outside with our blazers and then building up from within. So it's doing all these things like the podcasts and community events, and a portion of the proceeds for these blazers go to Elizabeth House. It's a nonprofit that helps women and their children experiencing homelessness, whether that's through domestic violence, sex trafficking. Everything we do is to help those around us and the women that wear these blazers.
I love that. Community is so important because when you win, you want to celebrate with someone. And when someone in the She Built a community experiences a win, I'm so happy to celebrate it with them because I want to feel that same way.
Yes. That's what brings me joy. And that's what I hope to bring to those around me and those that wear Madison Savile blazers. Yes, absolutely.
What has been your most challenging obstacle in launching and growing your brand and business, and how did you overcome it?
How many days do you have? Wait, it's only an hour? Okay.
And in fashion, I'm sure, because fashion is not an easy industry at all.
No, everybody's like, why did you go into a very hard industry? And then also starting with something that's very challenging in the fashion industry, which is a woman's blazer. So as you know, in LA, California, it's about loungewear, your sweatpants and your athleisure. And then of course, I'm coming in with a very tailored piece. So very technical. As an entrepreneur, there's so many challenges already. It is definitely a learning curve from finance to fashion, from an industry where it's numbers, it's compliance, it's deadlines. You have to meet those deadlines. There's no excuses. But in the fashion industry, you're working with creatives. It's just a different way of working. It's a different working style in this industry. And that's one of the things I had to get used to. Is like, okay, so this is a different way of working. But then also on top of that, it is in the finance industry. I've built this career over 15 years, and I left Microsoft as a senior manager, essentially. And now I'm going to a different industry. And in this fashion industry, if you're not putting orders in like Nordstrom or your Tom Fords out there with hundreds and millions of units, you're a small fish in a big pond. And I'm a small fish in a big pond because I'm just starting up and I have smaller units. And of course, smaller units and technical, very tailored pieces. Like, who are you? And so my leverage, it's so difficult to go into a new industry when now you're a small fish again and your leverage is not quite strong like it was in the other industry. So it's getting used to that. But then also with COVID on top of that, that had Well, I mean, I know everybody that added a lot to everybody's plate too. And we were supposed to launch actually March 2020. And so you can imagine once, with COVID hitting, I had to pause everything. And then with all the entrepreneur challenges already for any entrepreneur, on top of that, you have COVID and the supply chain issues and your resource issues. And so I was navigating through all of these all at the same time and trying to launch this company in the middle of a pandemic. I love memes and analogies. So what it felt like was me running uphill with a boulder coming down at me and trying to dodge it at the same time and not trying to get killed.
Right.
So that's essentially, all the challenges in a nutshell.
And I know so many listeners can relate to that, but it really is your passion towards what you're doing that carries you through every day.
Absolutely. I have to say that is your will pick you up and your why will pull you forward. And thank you. And that is something that, to be honest, I had to remind myself this past month because, like I said, a lot of life changes happened and it really tests you. And when you're so in the weeds, like I am, like down to the thread of a blazer, it's very much in the weeds. You have to remind yourself what your why is and that this is bigger than you. And that's what gives you perspective again.
So true. What do you like the most about helping women realize their gifts and empowering them to shine their light?
It's that sparkle in that person's eyes when they are alive again. That is currency for my soul and my heart, is when I see that I've made a difference in someone's life for the better. To know that ripple effect of impacting and changing people's lives. If I wasn't there, would it have changed their lives for the better?
And you said alive again. I think coming out of COVID, we all want to feel that way. I think we're going to hit this tipping point where we're like, okay, no more loungewear. We want to feel a little more dressed up again. My daughter just went through all my jewelry and she's like, Mom, why don't you ever wear this? And so I just recently started putting it on. I'm like, with whatever I have on, I'm just going to wear it. Otherwise, it's just going to sit in my closet forever.
Exactly. And I don't know about you, but I forget what's in my closet now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I have that. Yes. I should wear it.
Yes. I ask this question at the end of every episode because I believe finding joy in what we do is so important to our daily lives. Magic happens when we focus on the part of ourselves and our business that brings us joy. What is one tip you can leave with us today about how you find and live your joy? My 2022 goal is leave space and room for wonder. Because we are so much adulting, we have to do this. You have to, I have to. And especially with COVID on top of that, it is leaving that space for wonder. Because it creates that space for childlike energy and play that's all within us that we tend to forget or we tend to shove down within us. Wonder equals joy. Wonder equals creativity. Wonder equals you being happy. Congrats to you for making your leap into your new business, and we all can't wait to check it out. Can you please tell our listeners how and where they can find you?
MadisonSavile.com, and Savile is Savile. Follow us on Instagram at Madison Savile. We also have a Facebook Insiders group for those that want to join that community. Anytime we're looking at a new design or a new color, we ask that group for their opinion, and then sign up for a newsletter on our website.
If you are new to She Built It, we'd love for you to join us. We offer community memberships, masterminds, innovative virtual events, and meaningful connections to entrepreneurs and corporate leaders. Please also check out our She Built It shop, curated products from women-owned businesses who put their heart and soul into their beautiful and innovative products. We offer She Built It business consulting and the She Built It blog. Thank you to everyone around the world who joined today. Thank you to my editor, Rich Streffolino. Please download and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, together, let's let nothing stop us from experiencing the life that we crave.